Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Ambassador Sebashongore, the ambassador of Rwanda to the Benelux countries. And it's a great pleasure because this is the final session we have in this academic year. And there's no better person to close this session than the ambassador. Not only is he a distinguished academic, he has a PhD in applied organic chemistry from the Université Catholique de Louvain, but he's also a politician and someone who has had responsibility for the complex problems of an African growing city. He chaired the City of Kigali Council between 2011 and 2016. Africa has been a theme, an interesting theme throughout this academic year, and I'm very pleased that we have been able to secure the services and the talk of the ambassador. Ambassador, it's a great pleasure. Over to you.
Thank you for your introduction, your kind introduction. As you mentioned, I've been a lecturer, professor in University of Rwanda, but in another domain which is not related to what I'm going to present today. But I've been playing a role as a politician in my country, even in the university, because all of us was requested to participate to the construction of the country. So meaning that you couldn't avoid to tackle to the political issues. It's in that way that I come in and be promoted as ambassador of my country in the Kingdom of Belgium. Today, it is a pleasure. I'm going to talk about the Rwanda foreign policy as it was being requested. And I will try to be brief because there are a lot to say. So Rwanda foreign policy is anchored on its history from the pre-colonial to the post-independence and the post-genocide periods. It is further informed by global trends, which are constantly shaping international cooperation and affairs among states and other actors. This concurrent backward and the forward reflection approach emphasizes the foreign policy's connection to the past and lesson learned and the new and emerging global trends that require constant attention. Rwanda upholds the principle of mutual respect and the benefits, non-aggression, respect for each other, sovereignty, equality, and the territorial integrity between countries, and non-intervention in one another international affairs. Rwanda continues to pursue foreign policy objectives that deliver on its long-term vision amidst a fluid global environment. Therefore, Rwanda aims to protect national sovereignty, interests, and security of Rwandan citizens living inside and outside the country, facilitates the promotion of inclusive, innovative, transparent governance and peace, engage foreign nations in the pursuit of solutions for regional, continental, and international issues. What are the core values of our foreign policy? Our values are based on 5 or 6 values. The one is unit, meaning representing the promotion of oneness and the respect of diversity. Equality means confirming that all human beings have the same right. Dignity as an inherent right to be valued and the foundation of the mutual respect. Integrity as a commitment to honesty that is fundamental tenet to foreign policy. Solidarity refers to standing for mutual support for common interest. Accountability as account-giving relationship. So our policy are based on 5 pillars, sorry. This aim to give you an overview of the key pillars that drive our foreign policy. We count 5 pillars: security and defense, preserving genocide memory and fighting genocide ideology and denial, people to people and knowledge exchange, economic prosperity and multilateralism. The first pillar is security and defense. As you know, we have been passing through dramatic situation, and our foreign policy has to start by the security and defense. Rwanda recognized that national and global peace, security, and stability are fundamental to its political, socio-economic development. This pillar is composed by the following: to protect and preserve Rwanda's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Rwanda is committed to the United Nations Charter principle to refrain in its international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, but equally commits to its inherent right for self-defense in case of violations against its sovereignty and territorial integrity. To contribute to the maintenance of sustainable global peace and security and stability, Rwanda is committed to deploy its resources in restoring and maintaining peace in the region, Africa, and the world. Rwanda continues to play an active role in international peace operation, humanitarian assistance, building on its record. Further, it works with international partners to ensure universal adherence to Kigali principles on protection of civilians, prevention of the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, and the use of child soldiers in armed conflicts. To support the establishment of global governance system, Rwanda recognized that cyberspace presents global opportunity and threats. Rwanda supports international cooperation in the establishment of global governance of cyberspace system to improve cybersecurity, secure use of outer space, and minimize vulnerabilities. It continues to advocate and support regional, continental, international efforts to ensure a secure and a peaceful world. The second pillar tackles the important topic for us, that is preserving genocide memory and fighting genocide ideology and denial. In the wake of 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, the country made a constitutional commitment to raise global awareness about genocide, uphold universal human rights, and honor its responsibility to protect. It is in this regard that Rwanda will continue to fight against genocide and its ideology anywhere in the world by raising awareness about the 1994 genocide against Tutsi in Rwanda. To do so, Rwanda reaffirms its commitment to educate the global community about the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, preserve the memory and the historical facts, build and preserve memorial sites, fight against the genocide ideology, denial, and revisionism. Building on lessons from its past, Rwanda will continue to engage the international community in its efforts to uproot divisionism, racism, extremism, and build lasting peace and stability. Promote genocide related to justice as a shared global responsibility. Rwanda promotes the formulation and implementation of legal frameworks for the prevention of genocide. Through international cooperation, Rwanda is committed to prevention and the punishment of the crime of genocide, which includes genocide, denial, and revisionism. To that effect, it engages both state and non-state actors to preserve the genocide historical fact, to act for justice by trying and or extradite genocide fugitives. Uphold the responsibility to protect. Rwanda is committed to respect all norms and the principles of international laws in order to protect all population from mass atrocity, crime, and human rights violations. We have made a political commitment to prevent genocide, war crimes, ethnic cleansing, and crimes against humanity anywhere in the world. Informed by lessons from the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, the country pledged to honor its obligation and the responsibility to protect, including providing human and material resources in support of peace operations. One recent example is Rwanda's effort for peacekeeping in the Central African Republic. Our third pillar is centered around people-to-people knowledge exchange. Rwanda recognized that foreign policy is multidimensional. Its executive, judicial, and legislative branches continue to build as means of sustaining healthy, strong, and mutual beneficial relationship. Rwanda recognized people-to-people links as vital to its diplomacy. For that, we have to promote parliamentary and cultural diplomacy. Parliamentary diplomacy, Rwanda promotes parliamentary diplomacy as an important element in her foreign policy. Parliament plays an essential role of ratifying bilateral and multilateral treaties. Cultural diplomacy is also emphasized to promote and strengthen cultural cooperation with different countries. The aim is to facilitate exchanges of cultural experience and build people-to-people relations. Strengthen engagement of Rwanda community abroad. Rwandans living abroad play a vital role in our political and socio-economic development, as well as the image building of the country. We continue to support the building of a united and a dynamic Rwanda community abroad, actively involved in strengthening their relation and cooperation with the host countries. Rwanda will also continue to mobilize the Rwanda community abroad to participate in its development programs and to take advantage of economic opportunities. One of the ways we have implemented the above mentioned objective was by organizing Rwanda Day events before COVID-19. It was very effective in engaging Rwandans living abroad in the image of building advocacy and participation to the development of the country. Promote South and South cooperation. Rwanda recognized the need to exchange ideas and experiences with other countries in the interest of South to South cooperation. In this regard, Rwanda endeavors to share selected homegrown solutions that played a vital role in its post-genocide recovery and the transformation, and also learn from other countries' experiences and best practices. Our fourth pillar is economic prosperity. As stipulated in our Vision 2015, Rwanda seeks to achieve inclusive and sustainable economic prosperity anchored on inclusive long-term growth. This translates to Rwanda becoming a more competitive regional and a global economic player, an upper middle income country by 2035 and a high income country by 2050. To do so, we need to strengthen and expand economic diplomacy. Therefore, Rwanda seeks to increase export value of goods and services, attracts investment, promote Rwanda as a tourism and preferred destination for meeting, incentive, conference, and exhibition. In the pursuit of economic and commercial gain, Rwanda leverages existing network and relation to penetrate new strategic markets, strengthen and expand its commercial network. It seeks to reinforce its position in trade bilateralism and multilateralism, particularly by contributing to the formulation and implementation of international trade rules. Contribute to the global environment protection. Rwanda considers climate change and environmental degradation as one of the greatest existential threats to humankind in the 21st century. We played a critical role in the formulation of Kigali Amendment to Montreal Protocol and the negotiation of the Paris Agreement. Climate change speak to the country's commitment to fight environmental threats. Therefore, Rwanda continues to leverage its partnership to mobilize resources to innovatively and sustainably protect the global environment and achieve sustainable development. Strengthen and expand public health. Rwanda advances global unity, solidarity in building a resilient and healthy global community. To that end, it strategically works with all stakeholders to innovatively address existing and future public health challenges in a timely, equitably, and sustainable manner. It fosters diplomatic engagement to bridge identified disconnects between science, policymaking, and society. Rwanda commits to play its part in finding lasting solutions, including manufacturing of medical products through regional value chain in order to address inequalities, building resilience and save lives. For example, Rwanda will start the manufacture of vaccines and medicine for COVID-19 and other diseases in partnership with BioNTech. Last but not least, we have the multilateralism pillar. Rwanda upholds and promotes the principle of multilateralism. It collaborates with other international players to make existing multilateral system more inclusive, efficient, and relevant. In fostering international peace and security, trade and respect of human rights, and the promotion of democracy, protection of refugees, and attainment of sustainable development. Foster political and socio-economic integration of African development. Rwanda believes that there is three main ways to foster the political and the socio-economic integration and development of our continent. Rwanda, in interacting with the other African countries, is committed to the realization of the African Union vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. It continues to forge new partnerships and strengthen existing ones with the regional economic communities, which serve as a cornerstone of African integration. Rwanda continues to work actively on the operationalization of the African Continental Free Trade Area, strategically engage with the international community. Rwanda sees multilateralism as a strategic facilitator in pursuing universal reform for a just and a fair society. Dictates the country action and the willingness to proactively participate in the global efforts to find solutions to current and future challenges. As a member of the United States nation, and in collaboration with its global partners, Rwanda will play a constructive role in bringing about a sustainable and equitable global governance structure and a system that offer an environment for peace and security for collective humanity and development. For the implementation of the Rwanda foreign policy through its pillar, core values and the guiding principle is carried by its diplomatic mission across the globe. We have 41 missions abroad, embassies and the diplomatic offices covering 147 countries, 18 in Africa, 9 in Asia and the Middle East, and 13 in Europe and America. Rwanda has also 37 honorary consuls in 17 countries. Rwanda will continue to expand her representation abroad in order to be more visible and relevant on international scene. Other institutions to effectively implement Rwanda foreign policy have established dedicated structure such as Committee of Foreign Affairs at the Parliament, Military and Defense Diplomacy Department in the Ministry of Defense. And finally, Rwanda has a membership in 219 international organizations. At the continental level, the President Paul Kagame, His Excellency President Paul Kagame, continues to play a very important role in the promotion of African Union vision and the agenda of 2063 in leading the African Union reforms and the African Union development agenda. The signing of the African Continental Free Trade Area in March 2019 in Kigali and its entering into force in January 2021 is an opportunity for Rwanda to to promote its economic diplomacy. Rwanda has so far signed 16 double taxation agreements in order to attract foreign investments in the country and to facilitate Rwandans to establish their businesses abroad. Thank you for your attention.
There is a question, Giulio.
I would like to ask a question regarding the economic performance of Rwanda in the coming years. How has your country succeeded in growing its economy in the past years? They've been growing, the economy has been growing steadily in the past years in what is being called a Rwanda economic miracle. So I just wanted to have your thoughts on what the country is doing right in that sense. Thank you. And also congratulate you on that.
Yeah, there is no miracles, there is a willingness. I think, as I said, our foreign diplomacy is anchored in the past colonial, the present and the future. After the genocide, we have no choice but to build the country. Principles are there in all academics auditoriums, and all professors are having all books. You have all information you need to implement or to build your strategy in the growth of the economy. So those economy is there, but I think what was important is the leadership, is people sitting together and try to set up what is the need of the country in the moment. And also to establish a kind of vision. Where do we come from? Where do we want to go? And there also make a kind of awareness for all population that we can't wait for external donors. We have to look up for our own solutions. And from that, once all population, all actors in Rwanda were aware about this, programs were established, and it was a matter of implementing them. So each year, there is a kind of a dialogue between all authorities and the president and the all actors and the all population who are asking about the program of the government. If there is some weakness or failures, the questions are addressed to all authorities, starting by governors or directors and up to the president himself, and they have to respond. And after that, they make a kind of analysis to try to understand why this one didn't work, why this one is working well. So sharing experience, and also with external people who may come and advise us on how to conduct that kind of project in terms of trying to enhance our productivity in that sector or another sector. So I think the most important thing, and this has been established on the starting point, we have decided to be united. We decided to think big and decided also to be accountable. Each one is responsible for what he's doing. And once everyone respects the three principles, you can expect that we will move. I'm not saying that there's no problem, but you will move in the right way. It's the most important, good leadership, good governance, and the determination to be out of this situation of, this bankrupt of the country. So it was a decision, global decision taken by the people of Rwanda with their own leadership, and also with the support of friends and countries and organizations who were able to support us. This is what I can say.
Mr. Skate.
Professor. And good morning, Nadia and the class. First of all, Prof, thank you for the brief overview of Rwanda's foreign policy. I am a keen admirer of your president, President Paul Kagame. I have a few concerns. I wish you can clarify me. From the presentation you made, it shows that Rwanda's foreign policy is heavily hinged on the fact that they don't intend to share the historical experiences of unfortunate circumstances like the genocide. In the weeks that just passed, the United Kingdom announced a policy of repatriating refugees and asylum seekers from the UK, people they term illegal migrants. They intended to repatriate them from the UK to Rwanda. For a country with a violent history of minority relations, how do you perceive this as a future security threat in that the refugees can constitute a new minority that in the future might dent the peace and calm that is trying to be restored in Rwanda following the genocide? And secondly, Rwanda is actively committed to the principles of a united, prosperous, and integrated Africa. My question is, in the years that have passed, the African Union has failed woefully in its role as an oversight organization in the stability of Africa and in providing peace and security in Africa. I come from Cameroon. I am currently seeking asylum in the United States because my country is in a brutal civil war with Amazonian separatists. The African Union till date has been unable to make a comment on this conflict and rather has fed its political motives. What pride does Rwanda take in proclaiming its alliance with the African Union when it has become much more of a rhetoric organization than one with an actual platform and framework to prosper the people of Africa? Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think in your approach, there are a lot of things you said. What I retain, it is about the last agreement made by Rwandan government and UK government, if I got you well. But this is an agreement which I don't have to make a comment because it has been done between the two government and it is known by all. So there is no infraction. It is part of the agreement of UK and the Rwanda, and also it is related. If you see members, maybe some of them are not understanding the kind of agreement Rwanda is signing with the UK. It is proposing a solution. There is no obligation for those people to go in Rwanda. There is no obligation. Those who want to come, we offer a solution. And we do so why? It is because we have the experience to be refugees and living abroad, that we can afford other people to live in our country. So it is an opportunity we are giving to them. We suffered a lot. And once we think that we have been out of this kind of situation, we can understand our brothers. Now we are offering that. If they have chosen to go in UK, it is their right. They can refuse. There's no obligation. It is an opportunity giving to them, and all facilities are giving. So I think it is a kind of subject which is very, very sensible because it is new. But wait and see, and let's see the first batch, which is going to Rwanda, and have a comment from them. If they disagree, they can go back.
Kelechi?
Thank you. And thank you, sir, for your expose on Rwanda. Rwanda is a country I have admired so much, and I so much respect the history. And yeah, it causes me a lot of emotion when I visited Rwanda and visited sites of the genocide, and I was just in awe as to what the country has gone through. And what put me in more awe is how the country manages today to put it all behind. And, you know, at times of the memorial, people remember, but not in anger. They remember in forgiveness. And for me, it was like, wow. So you talked about the role of Rwanda now on the international stage to educate the world on genocide and to try to prevent genocides across the world, because Rwanda has experienced it in the harshest form. But I am still curious on how Rwanda is able to maintain the balance, how Rwanda is able to maintain the unity that you talk about, considering this very, very treacherous past, because this is what indeed the world has to learn from. There is so much conflict across Africa, so much tribalism across Africa. So for me, it's really interesting. How does Rwanda keep the balance till today? And going forward, how do you also make sure that there are no cracks going back into the hatred and into the kind of divisions that caused the genocide? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam, for your question. I think it is very, very important, your remarks. What I can say, we don't say that we have solved all problems. And we recognize that it is still fragile. This is why we are putting a lot of effort to educate people that we can't go back in this kind of trouble. And the only way to live in Rwanda, there were some mistakes or bad explanation of our history. This is why I said that our foreign policy is taking in account the pre-colonial past and the after pre-colonial existence, and also after genocide. So we went back and we tried to analyze why these things happened. And we come up to understand that we are one people. One people. All people in Rwanda are speaking in Kinyarwanda. There is no other language. The culture is the same, despite some slight differences you may find in the north, the east, or the center of the country. But we are doing the same. And we analyze and we see that those things are coming from outside. You see, Rwanda has existed from 10th century. And how can we explain that in, let's say, in more or less than 20 years, we are in trouble at that level where people are killing others? They were having weddings between all tribes. There are people, you cannot ask them what is the origin. The only thing they can say is, I'm Rwandan. But politicians came in because for the stake of getting a position as a politician, they went through this kind of lying people that are going to give them roads, hospitals, and things like that. But also, if you look at our past colonial, some histories are coming from outside. So as long as we are aware where those kind of mistakes came, we try to stop it and educate people, request them to go back in their own history and they try to understand the truth. And once we have a small country with a big population, without resources, it is easier to put them, each one against each another to another. But if you have a program of development where people are feeling and are seeing what we can reach, what we can gain, and share it on national level, they understand that the leadership is not lying. And it was difficult from 2000 to 2010 because people didn't understand this program, this vision 2020 we had for people. But after 2010 and the 2020, they were a big step made in the economy, in the social, in the way the governance, there where people try to understand, oh, we are on the right way. We should support the vision of our leadership. And from that point, now we are going in the same way of unity, of working together on getting our own solution before asking the outside people to help us. So this is a process which is going to take time. I'm not saying that we have solved it, but now I'm confident that the most people of Rwanda start understanding why we reach this level of killing each other. And we don't want to go back for that. There is no gain for that. So for me, we will continue to educate people. There is many programs to help people on different levels, like, for example, construct or build houses for those who are not able to have a house, or giving a system, a health system for all, a medical system, where they can go to the hospital and be treated. There is no barriers for that. We have different programs also which are helping people to get small job, but not staying at home. This creates a kind of confidence and a trust in the way the government is trying to solve the problem. And also partners start understanding what Rwanda is doing and start trusting the way Rwanda is doing, is taking his own problem and try to solve their own problems. And this is why the image of Rwanda is increasing positively inside the country and outside the country. This is what we are trying to build. This image. Our foreign policy is based on that, and making sure that what happened to us cannot happen again to us, and even outside in the region or in the world. We are keen to help people, to support those different decisions which can make this continent peaceful and economically growing.
Charlson?
So I'm wondering, in light of Vision 2020 and Vision 2050 of Rwanda, and in light of the pandemic, I'm wondering if the Rwandan government is, what the Rwandan government is doing to achieve its goals in Vision 2020 and Vision 2050, which I would guess have been in fact impacted by the pandemic. I wonder what the Rwandan government is doing to revisit this plan and to achieve its goals.
Well, thank you. I get the point. But as a human being, I can understand your question. But when we planned for the Vision 2020, even the Vision 2015, we didn't take in account that the pandemic is going to appear. But once it appears, we face it and we try to see for solution, to look for solution. And if you look at the way we try to manage this pandemic, it is inspiring that even though the consequence, we cannot neglect the consequence of the pandemic, but which was also a global issue. It was not a global problem for Rwanda also, or unique. So after that, we try to understand what happened, what are our possibility for us to continue the vision. We adapt the vision to the current context, and we change accordingly. But we are not discouraged by that, because our goal is to reach the Vision 2015, to develop a country. And it is possible because other countries have done the same. They have taken the same route. So why not Rwanda? You believe on what you have planned. Once you face some challenges, some treaties, you come back, you analyze why this went wrong. And we try to bring some correction in the vision. And even though I prefer to have a vision compared to someone who may go without a vision, because with a vision, I know where I'm going. And when I have a problem, I understand why maybe I didn't plan correctly, and I correct it. So I believe that the Vision 2015 is possible, but we are aware that something may happen, but we are there also to bring some correction in order to achieve our goals and our objectives.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Mr. William, you are invited to have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this splendid, informative end to our academic year of 2021-2022. You've given us an insight into Rwanda, and your positive approach, for me anyway, gives me the reason why Rwanda is, as you said, going up in the estimation of the outside world, and also, of course, of its of the average Rwandan citizen. As you said, as you described, the 5 pillars of your foreign policy are coherent, and by emphasizing what everyone remembers, the one fact, if any fact has been remembered about Rwanda, the genocide, by emphasizing that Rwanda is going forward and dealing honestly with that problem, I think it gives an example to the rest of the world to follow. So you said that Rwanda has 129, I think, representations across the world. You also mentioned that your country will commence manufacturing vaccines in partnership with biotech. These are all signs, wider signs, that Africa is becoming a continent to be reckoned with, not as a subject, but as an actor with its own interests, its own assertions, its own policies in its own right. And this has been a theme in this academic year, and a theme, yes, it's been dominated by Russia and China, but we've always asked, what is Africa's position? And I think in the years to come, what is Africa's position is going to be a key theme in international relations. So, Ambassador, thank you very much for this insightful and stimulating end to our session. We wish you and your country well, and we hope to be in contact again. Thank you.
Thank you much. Thank you very much.